Welcome to Right at Work Fighting Abuses, a program initiative of the NLC Solidarity TV. This program is poised to raise awareness, educate workers on workplace right violations, more so to hold organizations accountable in that respect. Today, we are laying the foundation of this podcast. And with me is my senior colleague, Comrade Chris Onyeka, who is here with me to share more light. Welcome, sir.
Great to be here.
Welcome.
And to be part of this project.
We're glad to have you on board.
Promises to be an exciting journey.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Laying foundation on this, Comrade Chris. What will you term to be workers' workplace violation?
I think that the basic place to start is that we look at a typical workplace. What does it constitute? The workplace is a place for wealth creation. It could be an office, it could be virtual, it could be physical. And then it could be a manufacturing entity somewhere. It could be a drilling plant somewhere out there in the offshore or on the land. All of these things, these places are workplaces, provided it is for the purposes of wealth creation. Now, and then, so in this process of trying to create wealth, you have people. You have workers who work in those places, and then you also have some other actors in that same workplace, like the employer, the one that has employed the worker, and then who owns the means of production, the capital. And then you also have government that brings in the law that regulates how the interaction in the workplace occurs. And so each of these actors in the workplace have interests, and they also have rights. And when we talk about the violation of these rights, the abuse of these rights, so you then ask yourself, what are these violations? When you abridge the rights of any of these actors within the world of work, that is a violation.
Okay, taking it a bit further, before we dive into the nitty-gritties of this discussion, what do we term as workers' rights?
Workers' rights essentially are statutory, legal, constitutional entitlements of workers in the world of work. They are protected by the laws, by international labor standards, by different international frameworks, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic, and the labor administration laws in Nigeria. All of these bodies, all of these bodies constitute the gamut that is called workers' rights. They define what is the right of a worker in the place of work. Because we know that the place of work is supposed to be a place of equity, a place of fairness. It's not supposed to be a slavish place. It's supposed to be a place where human beings work. And if human beings work in such organizations, such places, their interests need to be protected by the law. And so those entitlements, those entitlements that they do have while they are at work, they are the things that constitute the rights of workers while at work.
Some of our audience would like to know. Some of our audience would like to know those fundamentals that that constitute workers' rights.
Yeah.
You know, like saying right to life, right to this,
and all of those.
Yeah.
From the beginning, it's important to understand. It's important to understand that workers' rights are human rights. If workers' rights are human rights, then you know that every right that belongs to a human being also belongs to the worker. Then the next, you know, what are those specific rights that belongs to a man or woman who is at work? Now, the first thing you look at is a man has gone to work in order to do what? He's using his labor power and he wants to earn a living. How does the law protect him in that regard? The law says that a man that is at work has the right to fair wage.
Okay.
When we talk about fair wage, we're talking about that wage that is commensurate with the quality of work he has put in, that wage that is able to meet his basic needs as a human being, that wage that at least will make him to live as a member of the society in a dignified manner. That is one. Two, the worker has the right for equal pay. In essence, like I said before, that the workplace is a maze of interaction. It's a matrix. That if I'm working with Mr. Jimo or Mr. Keke or Mr. Rauf in a place of work, and we are doing the same work, playing the same role in that organization, that I am entitled to the same pay with Rauf and Jimo. And so we are supposed to be paid equal amount for the same role that we have played. That is the second. The third is the right for a worker not to be discriminated against, either because he is a woman, either because the person is a woman or the person espouses one faith or the other. So in essence, we're talking about not being discriminated against on basis of gender, on basis of race, on basis of belief system, or on basis of any other affiliation. So he has that right to so do. Also, the worker has the right to freely associate with other workers, to freely associate, express his beliefs. In essence, he has that right to decide whether he is going to be a member of a political party or not. He has that right to decide whether he wants to join a union or not. And these rights are enshrined in our laws.
Now, having seen that, all these rights are carefully enumerated. You know, these workers whom have been violated get redressed.
That is why we have the labor laws. You have all this legal framework that ensures, that defines what those rights are, so that everybody will know that these are the rights. And now, you now ask yourself, how then do we ensure that those rights are not violated? Now, there are institutions of government that have been put in place. For example, the Federal Ministry of Labor, in Nigeria specifically, there is the issues around labor and industrial relations are in the exclusive legislative list. It's only the federal government that can regulate the employment relations in Nigeria. So the Federal Ministry of Labor in Nigeria is mandated to look at issues that govern industrial relations in the country. So, and they have various departments in the Ministry of Labor that handles abuses and violations in the world of work. That is one. Two, the union is one of the biggest institutions. The workers' organization is one of the biggest institutions that is recognized or set up to protect the rights of workers in the place of work. For example, in a typical workplace where there is a union, if a worker is treated contrary to his stated rights, the worker has a reporting mechanism, would naturally report to his union, his immediate union. His immediate union would intervene. His immediate union has levels of escalation from the unit level to the branch level, from the branch level to the state level, and then to the nation, to their national level. And then these levels handles this matter. If this level is not able to resolve the matter, it is escalated to the next level. continuously until the matter is resolved. Okay. If at the level of the union, they were not able to resolve it with the employer, the union at the national level takes it up with the Ministry of Labour. And then there may be a conciliation, okay, or mediation. And then it will go to other levels of probably going to IAP and arbitration, and then probably go to NIC. But fortunately, we now have an NIC that has become a court of first instance. So in essence, there are certain basic issues that hitherto would have been taken to IAP or conciliator or mediator that now can pass to NIC without having to pass through all these other processes. The worker can leverage on the availability of NIC to be able to seek remediation of his rights that have been violated. And so you have all of these that are available for workers to seek redress when their rights are violated. The Nigerian Labour Congress is also in a big position, in a poor position, to handle these matters when the unions that are affiliates of the NLC were incapable or found it difficult to handle such matters. Such matters could be brought to the Nigerian Labour Congress. Nigerian Labour Congress has structures around all the country, 36 states of the Federation, including Abuja. When you reach the Nigerian Labour Congress can intervene through its affiliates. And when workers also come to us directly, we try to refer them to the unions that are responsible for such industrial sector. And the unions normally handle them. Where they have issues, they can come back to us and we intervene and resolve such issues.
Wonderful. You shed more light on where workers, when being abused, when rights being abused, could reach out to. But a lot of workers, most times on especially social media, if you follow up, you will discover a lot of workers are, most times angry with Nigerian Labour Congress on issues of right violations, why they are not being defended. I will bring you up to talk on sectorial issues, in the coming days. But I want you to just quickly speak to the issue of how do Nigerian Labour Congress actually defend workers' rights. I'm talking about somebody down there in the shop floor of the industrial part in Kaduna. How does he get justice through the Nigerian Labour Congress if his or her right has been violated?
It's important that we understand the structure of the trade unions in Nigeria and all over the world. We operate just like other unions all over the world. Nigerian Labour Congress is a national labor center. And then, from 1978, we started operating the industrial union model. Okay? That means that Nigeria is divided into industrial sectors. Or the industrial space in Nigeria is divided into industrial sectors. And now you have unions that have been given jurisdictional scope over such sectors. For example, in the food and beverage sector, you have the National Union of Food, Beverages and Tobacco Employees. There is an affiliate of the Nigerian Labour Congress.
Okay.
You have FOPTOP. There is an affiliate of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. Then in the banking and finance sector, you have union like the NUBIFE, that is the National Union of Banking and other financial institutions, okay, insurance and other financial institutions, NUBIFE, an affiliate of Nigerian Labour Congress. Then you go to many other, the steel sector.
Yeah.
You still have unions that are also affiliates of Nigerian Labour Congress. You go to the public sectors, you have unions that are affiliates of Nigerian Labour Congress. As it stands today, we have 62 industrial unions.
Wow.
That are affiliates of Nigerian Labour Congress. Now, depending on the sector where the worker works, so every Nigerian worker belongs to a particular sector.
Okay.
So that sector that you belong to, once there is an issue, there is a union that is in that particular sector that is an affiliate of Nigerian Labour Congress that you can talk to. So if, for example, you are in the oil and gas sector, you can talk to NUPENG. NUPENG is your union. There is check-off dues that you pay to NUPENG. You report to the next in line. And NUPENG is an affiliate of Nigeria Labour Congress. It's independent. It runs issues, defends the workers in that particular sector. It is only when NUPENG feels that such issues are so weighty that they could not handle it on their own, that they can then come to Nigeria Labour Congress and say, this is what this employer has done to our member. And these are the steps we have taken. And these steps we have taken have not given us the desired result. So please intervene on our behalf. The Nigeria Labour Congress can now take it up in conjunction with NUPENG.
Yeah.
And then follow up on that matter and ensure that that matter is resolved in favor of the worker. It's our responsibility to protect the worker wherever the worker works. That is for a worker who belongs to a union. That is for a worker that works in an organized space. What of the worker that works where there is no union? That worker that worker that works where there is no union, he also have the opportunity of being protected by the NLC. He has that opportunity. How? One is that he can come directly to the Nigeria Labour Congress. If he so wishes, can come directly to the Nigeria Labour Congress.
Okay.
Nigeria Labour Congress will now put him or her through the process. Ask what is the name of your company. Give us a letter, a formal letter. We look at the formal letter and the complaints. And then we forward such formal complaints to the union that controls that particular sector.
Okay.
The union that controls that particular sector will get in touch with the individual worker that is concerned. And they will try to work it out through the process while they update us. And then when they cannot, they still come back to us and we're able to follow it up and resolve such issues. That is the way the trade union movement is structured. But there are other cases where if we also find it difficult as a national labor center, that we can also cascade this, escalate it to, for example, the ITUC Global in Brussels, who are our international network that will also join us together to be able to fight such issues. And at the end of the day, most of the issues get resolved.
Well, like I said, you are a professional on this field. We'll be glad to have you again on the platform to shed more light on sectarian issue. But I just wanted the viewers to understand the hierarchy of how these things are being done on in the NLC.
Very important.
Because I see a lot of blames most times channeled on the NLC. Why is NLC keeping quiet on my salary? Why is NLC doing this? So now they understand that it's actually sectorial before it comes to the NLC. Moving forward, we would like you to speak to the case of the judiciary on actually settling dispute between employers and employees when it comes to right abuses. Most recently, we've seen the issue of the FCT and its employers, though it has been resolved. But people might wonder, are we having victors and more vanquished, or no victor, no vanquished in that scenario?
Yeah, what has been painted is that there was no victor, there was no vanquished.
Okay.
But just like the one that we fought in the 1970s, where there was no victor, no vanquished, eventually implementation became distorted. All the same, that matter was settled on the table, between the minister of FCT,
the mediation team.
Yes, and then it was resolved. Thank God it was. But the truth is that when we get back to the judiciary that you mentioned earlier, it's important that we understand that the judiciary have to understand that in the world of work, you are dealing with unequal parties.
Okay.
Imagine a whole conglomerate. Imagine Nigerian breweries dealing with one knock.
That's impossible.
It's important that the judiciary should imagine that at all times. Because the world of work is a special space. Because it's a special space, that was why a special court was designed for it. Because you are dealing with human beings who are at work. Not only that you are dealing with human beings who are at work, you are also dealing with the very forces that create wealth. That the society itself depends on what happens in this particular sector to develop. And so, care must have to be taken in the adjudicatory process within the industrial relations firm. And so you find out that, for example, the FCT case that
Yes.
you mentioned,
Yes.
that the judiciary, unfortunately, was led or misled to give an injunction against workers and telling workers that they should not embark on a strike. A strike is a right, despite the fact that the workers had followed the due process,
Yes.
given the required number of days without achieving any result. And then the employers still did not address any of those demands of workers.
Yeah.
Then the workers decided to go ahead. And then, unfortunately, the industrial court did what it did. But at the end of the day, industrial court ought to understand that when you grant an injunction, the person whose right is being abused suffers most. It means that you are compensating the abuser of the right of worker when you give an injunction. Because you are telling the worker, do not cry. Wait until we resolve this matter. But the worker is already being injured. For example, if he's a worker that has lost his job, and you tell him not to stay at home, that he should not complain until this matter is
Keep coming
resolved.
to work.
Why not tell the employer? Why not tell the employer, until we resolve this matter, this man is not going anywhere, this woman is not going anywhere. Continue paying him until we resolve the matter.
That sounds like justice.
Yes, that is the way, because when you look at the situation, you find out that you have livelihoods that are attached to what we're talking about. So the judiciary must realize, the judiciary in the industrial relations space must realize that they are dealing with unequal parties and they are dealing with life and death issues and must give their judgment according to that.
All right, so I will cut you off on this level of education because we'll be coming back. I don't want the issues to be, all sorted out today. There are several episodes to engage in the coming days. This is where we call it a wrap. Remember, this podcast is to educate workers on their rights, their fundamental right as workers, and also to hold organizations accountable through interviews, expert analysis, and also stories from our workers at the shop floor. You could be the next I will want to interview. Share your story with us. Reach out to us on this platform. And you can feel free also to write us on our email, gsec@nlcng.org. We will be glad to hear your story and also to have you on this podcast. Until I come your way again, take care. Have a nice day.